Alrighty, so today I want to walk you through the 8 types of marketing that can help you attract more clients and keep them coming back. So, regardless of whether you're a business owner or a freelancer, or you're trying to help your clients grow their businesses, I'm going to give you the pros and cons of each method so that you can get a clear understanding of which method should work best for you. And it's quite funny actually, because I've got one client I can think of where one method just works insanely well, whereas there's other clients where totally opposite methods work for them instead. So, each method is unique to the business, but that's why I want to give you the pros and cons so you can get a clear understanding of which method should work best for you or your client's business. But anyways, without further ado, let's get into it. Alrighty, so before we get into this, let me just put my blue light blockers on and get my tablet for actually writing down things easier, even though it's still as bad with a mouse anyway, but nonetheless, we have our table here of 8 methods of marketing. So we have everything from paid ads down to word of mouth. And just a small caveat here, you might be, if you are aware of these, you might be confused between these two because they do have overlaps between affiliates and influencers, but in the case of affiliates and referrals in the same category here, this is basically just the kind of customer and client side, whereas influencers is kind of just the influencer by themselves in this case. So we'll get onto that in a bit. But to get started with, we have these 5 categories here. So we have cost, time, experience, ROI time, and scalability. So in terms of these, they're like a ranking out of 10. So cost is basically how expensive is it to get started. Time is how long does it take to get started. Experience is how much experience do we need. ROI time is how long until we actually get a return on our investment. And then scalability is how scalable is this. So to get started with, let's obviously make sure we're picking the right pen here. We're good. Okay, so cost for ads, obviously it varies, but we're starting with the thing that obviously costs to get results. So there is going to be a lower number here out of 10, obviously, but it's going to vary because you can just spend to begin with just a few pounds or dollars per day to get some basic results, especially if it's low cost, low ticket service or products. But generally, it's going to be lower in terms of the cost here for ranking. So I'm probably going to give this probably going to give it a 3 because again, it will depend if you want to just start with a few dollars. But then again, if you've got a high ticket product or service, you're probably not going to get any leads or sales from just a few dollars a day unless you run it for like 2, 3 months. But to begin with, normally you need to spend at least like 3 to 5 times the product or service price to actually get your first couple of sales from ads. But it does depend, does vary a lot. Different platforms are slightly different. Like Meta's cheaper than like Google for clicks, especially at the beginning. But also Meta can have some, violating woke policy stuff, but we won't get into that. That's topic for another day. But nonetheless, it's you're basically paying for results here, so that's why it's going to be on the lower end in terms of cost to get started with ranking. So in terms of time required to actually do it, it's going to be the cheapest. It's going to be the cheapest in terms of time. I'm going to probably give this like a 7. Actually, I'm going to give it an 8 because it might just about meet an 8 if I can even draw an 8 properly. Because again, if you know what you're doing, which we'll get onto in just a second with the next one, it doesn't take long at all to set up an ad campaign if you've got the content ready, if you know what you're going to be making the ad about. It doesn't take long at all. It can take a couple of hours to get an ad set up, and even less in some cases. In terms of experience required, again, it's going to be on the lower end with the ranking here because, again, it's just like you're more or less chancing it if you don't know what you're doing. You are just kind of freeballing it, but yeah, I'd say generally it's going to be more like probably like a 4 at least, because just naturally, if you've got the track record, if you know what ads do and don't work most of the time, not even just with this a campaign or with this business, but just you've got more experience personally if you've done it before and you know what the policies are like. You kind of know roughly like what type of thing would work with copy and what won't work. You know, like how to structure ads properly, which just takes time and experience. But yeah, that's why I'd give that probably a 4 in terms of experience. ROI time, let's see, this is going to be naturally down to the length of the campaign, whatever you're running. I'm going to say that this is probably going to be like an 8, probably again in terms of time. Actually, no, I'm going to give this a 9 because like you at least know how long the campaign's going to be to know if you're going to get results or not in that time span. Scalability is going to be very easy for this one. I'm going to give this probably like an 8 as well because again, you can just pump more money into the ad. Once you start making money, you can just put the money back into it. Onto organic content, and obviously this is free. This is short form content, blog posts, copyright and copy on social media, all that sort of stuff. So in terms of cost here, this is basically none. This is like a 1. But yeah, you can boost posts that have done well, turn them into paid ads. That can be a good way of doing this as well. Make content for free, whatever content does well, turn it into an ad, that type of stuff. That can be how it can cost. But other than that, it's basically free, other than maybe time of buying equipment. But you can use your phone basically to make content, so you don't really have to worry about that. In terms of time, I mean, I've made a video on how to make like a month's worth of content in like 2 hours, so I'll link that below in the card if I remember to. But I mean, a little bit of time. I'm probably going to give this like a 7 because it can take some time. But again, it's cheap, it's free, so it's you're kind of spending a little bit of time to make a bunch of content. Experience required, I'm going to give this literally like a 10 because anybody that can hold a phone and make a video can make free organic content on social media. So it's really not that difficult at all. Obviously, maybe writing copy, being a bit more persuasive with your wording, with your text. But that just takes time. But again, anyone can make content, so that's why it's a 10 in this case. ROI time, this is why it can be a bit of a lag behind, especially compared to paid ads. Probably the worst in terms of ROI time for this, but it depends on your intention and how how good you are with content, that sort of stuff. So I'm probably going to give this like probably a 3 as well as the cost of paid ads, because again, it can take time. It can take a few weeks to a few months to start seeing results from organic content, unless you use it as an ad or something if it does well. But naturally, it can take longer because it is free. In terms of scalability, like I'd say, in terms of handing the work off to somebody, it can be scalable. But in terms of once it starts doing well, yeah, it's just literally the case of hiring editors, leveraging your time for more content, that sort of stuff. I'll give this maybe like probably an 8 as well for scalability in terms of that, because it's as scalable basically. Yeah. In terms of emails, we have cost for emails. Again, I'm going to give this probably like probably a 7 in this case, because the free limits of a lot of email marketing services will allow you the leeway of probably getting your first few sales, or at least your first sale, if I ignore the voice breaks, with the free limits of email marketing softwares. And most of the time, anyway, if you do have your first couple hundred or your first few hundred, even your first like 50 leads in some sort of email list somewhere, just literally send them some emails anyway, or put them inside of a free email system like MailChimp or Apollo. And you'll definitely get your first few sales within the free limits, and then it only starts costing like $10, $20, $30 a month for most email systems like that. So that's very low cost to get started there. So it's very good. It's high up the ranking. In terms of time, it's kind of the similar to paid ads. It depends. Like if you haven't warmed up an email yet, which basically means how like if this email address is brand new, this inbox is brand new, you don't want to hit spam, you don't want to get blocked by certain IPs, so you naturally want to delay your messages per day to like 20 to 30 per day. And then as you warm them up over the course of the first few weeks and months, you can then start sending hundreds to thousands per day. So I'd say to begin with, the time might take a little bit. I'm going to probably give this like a 6, because in terms of like sending the first few hundred emails, it might take a while, but yeah, it just naturally depends on how warmed up your emails are already, on if you've been doing it already or not. We're going to give that like a 6 in terms of time, and depending on the actual email as well, if you've got an offer in it or not, if you're just like writing to nurture or something. In terms of experience, fairly low experience required. You need a bit of copywriting experience, you need to be persuasive with your text, but other than that, it's fairly easy. So I'm going to probably give this like probably a 7 in terms of experience. If you can be persuasive in your text, that'll be better, but obviously it's not too difficult there either. ROI time, again, kind of the same as time in there, but it's going to be probably a little bit easier, because if you're writing emails to convert, it won't be as bad. So probably going to give this like a 7, because naturally, if you're writing emails, it's going to be, if you already have been writing emails, you're writing them to convert, hopefully not just for nothing. So you'll be aiming to get a conversion there pretty quickly. And there's already a lot of 7s I can see with with email. But scalability, it's just going to come down to adding more contacts to your list, basically adding more to your newsletter, adding more sequences. So yeah, I'm probably going to give this like an 8. Yeah, probably an 8 as well. That would be nice and easy. If I can write an 8 probably, that would be good. But yeah, as easy as, it's even worse, but as easy as the others in that case. I imagine scalability will actually probably all be 8s in this case, but we'll see where we go with it. In terms of affiliates and referrals, cost is going to basically be probably the cheapest. It's going to be the same as organic content here. You don't need to pay people anything to give a referral or affiliates. In fact, like often it's just if anything, actually, the only cost will be just like your margins. So I'm going to give it like a 2, because you can get free affiliates and referrals, but it's often in like for percentages and things like that. So that's why like it's going to be obviously slightly hitting into your margins. That's why it will cost more than organic because it's not purely free. But in terms of the cost hitting your margins, it might be like giving discount codes or whatever it might be, or giving people percentage commissions for that. So that's why cost might be a little bit different there. But other than that, it's completely free. Time wise, again, like you give some as soon as someone becomes an affiliate or starts referring you, it can be fairly instant. So I'm probably going to give this like a 7 as well as like others because you can incentivize people with referrals and with affiliate links and things like that. So it can be pretty easy as well. And as soon as they're incentivized to make money as well, it can be really good with that too. Experience required to actually, get them. Basically I'd say it's a 10 here. You can do it basically straight away. With your customers or your clients, ask them for referrals. If they want to become an affiliate for a percentage or for like whatever it might be, you can do that basically instantly. ROI time, probably going to put this at like maybe like an 8 because it might take a little bit longer than just like purely getting them, but still it's going to be fairly quickly, especially if you have campaigns and offers going. It'll be nice and quick if you have ads running at the same time. Scalability, you get new affiliates, new referrals. That can almost be its affiliate marketing is its own system in itself. Obviously, don't create a pyramid scheme of like you know just affiliates after affiliates after affiliates, but it's certainly a way to scale. So I'd say, yeah, it's easily like, to be fair, scalability, I'm going to put that at like a 9 because that's, don't go down the pyramid scheme route of affiliate marketing, but certainly it is a way to grow. Affiliates are a way to, and referrals are a great way to just kind of instantly actually keep that like alive and scale it really easily because people want to make money ultimately. Influencer marketing, again, it's its own barrel of fish here. I don't mean like Kim Kardashian and Ronaldo. I mean like local influencers. They might have a few thousand followers in your local area or in your county or state, and naturally, those few thousand followers are highly likely to buy from you. So that's why you reach out to them. You give them free samples. You give them free offers. You give them a discount code to their audience in exchange for a percentage commission or whatever it might be. So in terms of cost, I'm going to probably give this like again maybe like slightly higher than affiliate referral. You might give them like 10-20% or whatever, but it's still basically no cost to get started. You send them a free sample, it hits your margins a bit, but it's in exchange for just easy consistent sales. Time required, basically it's going to be amazing. This is going to be like an 8 as well. It's just down to how available the influencers are. If you have a campaign running already, if they know when they can start sending their first messages or put it on their story, that'll be fairly quick. Experience required, again, you can basically do this if you've just started a business and you know somebody that has a following, you can just message them straight away, so it's not difficult whatsoever. ROI time, it's going to be basically the same as the time. I'd say it's going to be like an 8 here as well because, again, it's just the time of them writing some messages, putting it on their Instagram, their social medias, and it'll be very quick. Scalability, again, it depends how quickly they want to do it. I'm going to probably put this as like a as soon as they want to do it too. So it's going to be like a 9, be like an 8 probably actually because it depends. It's down to the influencer and finding more influencers. So it's not going to be as quickly scalable as affiliate marketing or referrals, but it's going to be still fairly quick there. SEO, in terms of like campaigns, not just like optimization. So, this is like getting backlinks and things like that. If you don't know what they are, I'll make a video on that if you want me to. Link, like comment below. But basically, like getting your links everywhere, getting yourself on forums and things, and getting your SEO, like getting good like webinars and funnels sorted so that everything's optimized for posting and your funnel. In terms of cost, I mean, this is basically free. I'm going to put this at like a 9. There might be some cost, but basically nothing. Especially if you're just trying to optimize. In terms of time required, I mean, you need to have an understanding of SEO here anyway, understand how backlinks work and things like that. But again, time required, probably going to put at like probably like a 7, nice and easy, really. Experience required, you kind of need to have a understanding of SEO and copy and maybe content too. So I'm going to put this at maybe like a 6. ROI time, again, the time to actually start seeing conversions from this. It depends on what it is. Like if you put a backlink onto a forum from like some campaign or something, you might get sales straight away. So I'm going to probably put this at like a 7 because it depends. It can vary on what you're doing. If you're running any campaigns right now, whatever. But yeah, probably a 7 for that. Scalability, probably the least scalable actually, but it's still not too bad. Like I'd say probably a 7 as well, because again, you can just kind of get new links in places. You can have new funnels, new webinars, whatever, or just update your SEO for your website. That's not too bad either. Networking in terms of like getting yourself out there, personal branding podcasts, getting yourself out there in interviews, things like that. Showing the business off. Cost wise, basically free. So this is like cost of you traveling. So like basically 9 in this case. It's almost the same as everybody else. Um, Actually, I just realized I put cost as. Hold on, I just need to make this that's meant. I should have said that earlier. That shouldn't have been a 1. That should have been a 10. But yeah, in terms of free, it's basically free. You just the cost of you traveling around doing certain things. Um, in fact, I will make that actually I'll keep that at 9 actually. I was gonna put it at 10, but I'll include costs of traveling and things like that in just in case you do have to travel for certain things. Time required, it's the same as organic really, but it can be leveraging other people's like influences maybe or something. So I'm gonna probably put like in terms of time required, probably like I'm probably gonna put a 5 for that. Experience required, again, you can do this for next to nothing, no experience at all, so 10 instantly. ROI time, again, probably gonna be like I'm gonna probably put a 7 there, if I can even write a 7. Let's just do that. There we go. That'll do. In terms of scalability, it can help you scale quickly, which is really, really good. In terms of scaling it, again, it will just get you invited on more, more shows, more podcasts, more interviews. So yeah, I'd say probably like a 9 in terms of scalability for that sense. Yeah. And then word of mouth, every small business is doing this, but every large business is also doing it. It's kind of bridging the gap in between. Word of mouth, at least to get started with, is free, so it's 10. In terms of the time required, basically these are gonna nearly be all be 10s over here. Time required, basically no time required, maybe a little bit to get started, maybe like a 9. Experience required, again, like nothing. Although actually, no, I'm gonna put this as like it's not necessarily like referrals and recommendations. This is like people knowing what you do. So I'm going to put this as like a 9, because you need to start doing stuff for people to know what you do. ROI time, um, it can vary, but it's typically going to still be high. I'm going to probably put this like an 8, if I can even write the word 8. Word of mouth's going to end up being the best here, but this is why it's like the most powerful form of marketing ultimately. That's an 8. There we go. Scalability, again, this is how you scale with word of mouth. Like it's the best thing in the world. So yeah, that is why the biggest brands have the best brands in the world, because they use positive word of mouth. So we probably know a winner here already, but that gives you a basic idea of like where we're going with this. So we'll tally this up and then we'll come back with the results for ultimately which one should work best for you. Alrighty, so just wanted some maths in the background because I'm terrible at it. I just wanted to quickly tally this up, and as you can see, word of mouth, no surprise, is the best here and most powerful form of marketing, but it doesn't necessarily mean you should rely on that right now, especially if you're a small business owner under 50K a month, under 100K a month even, and you don't have consistent revenue throughout the year right now. You're not growing consistently with word of mouth. It's great to get you going, and it's great once you're a larger business, but you need to focus on, paid ads or organic or email or referral or affiliates or influencers, SEO, networking, whatever it might be, whatever one you think resonates best with whatever situation you're in right now or whatever situation works best for your client. Focus on that. If you still think it's unsure, you're still unsure, sorry, of which position is best for you right now, then feel free to, leave a comment below or send me a DM. Or even just, I'll leave a link to book a free call with me below and we can go through your situation or your client situation and see what method should work best for you. But I do hope this helps give you a clear understanding of which method should work best. But yes, if you did find this valuable, feel free to leave a like, consider subscribing, and hit the notification bell to see whenever I upload a new video. And yes, nonetheless, I do hope this helps, and thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.